We've been talking all week about renegade dependence. We're on our second day. And if you missed yesterday, you got to go back because we really covered what it is. And today we're going to talk about why it matters. All that and more on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Good morning.
Been working on it.
Excellent.
When I'm not in the office location you see here, I am not able to hear the audio. So I'm doing it from memory. But today I can hear it. So I'm trying to imprint it on my mind.
Excellent. So
You
are you
think
saying
600 times and I'd be good at it. But
you're saying you're a little dependent on the intro music?
yes.
Is that fair?
Bravo.
You know,
I didn't see it.
The blind squirrel and the nut theory is still available. All right, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning and welcome to today's Antidote, our daily podcast and broadcast, where Bob and I have a conversation each week around a topic. This week's topic, as he mentioned in the intro, is dependence. Clearly, he is dependent on our intro music to make this work, which is okay. And as we have that conversation, we welcome your thoughts and ideas because we know it'll add value to our show. Please feel free to put them in the comment section of whatever social media you happen to be following us on, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or
LinkedIn Live.
Yes. LinkedIn.
And you know what? We also, Tom, we don't say this enough. We also this is a podcast. There's an audio only version of this that you can find on Apple Music, Spotify. What was the other one? Anchor. There's a whole Republic, I think. There's a whole bunch of them.
Wherever you get your podcasts from, it's there.
It's there, exactly. And if you tell Alexa, play today's Antidote, it comes up.
Really?
I did not believe it. And one of my nephews actually showed that to me a couple months ago. I forgot to tell you. And, you know, I'm trying to be the cool Uncle Bob and not react like, oh my God, that's amazing. This is so fun. I'm like, yeah, I knew.
I like that.
Then I got in the car and went, yeah, baby.
I'm going to try that when we're done. I'll go upstairs and be like, hey, Alexa. So what does it play? The first episode or the most recent episode?
I don't know. Let me see what happens if I do it with Siri. Hey, Siri, play today's Antidote.
Now playing Independence, Discoveries of the Week from today's Antidote.
There it is.
There we go. Friday's episode.
Excellent. Wow.
We've been talking about renegade. Siri knows us.
Siri is aware of Siri and Alexa. Does that mean we're famous?
You're more excited about this than I thought you'd be.
I'm excited. It means that we have a chance to get our message out even greater, which is all we're trying to do is add value to people who think maybe they want to be a renegade or they are a renegade or they're uncertain.
They tried it and they didn't have the tools that they need to understand it in a way that they could be more successful next time they try.
Correct. All right. So I forget where we left off, although Bob talked about a podcast. At the end of our conversation, again, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching the broadcast, we'll offer our one thing, our today's antidote, that we hope might help you today or might help you somewhere down the line when you're struggling as you think about dependence and are trying to find your next step along your own unique pathway to success. And so please feel free to share your antidote if you have one, as we know, again, that anything that we share adds value to someone. Even if we never know that it adds value to them, someone out there is going to benefit from it. So please feel free to share. And each morning before we kick into our conversation, we do our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I'm celebrating that over the last week, I've gotten to go out on a 47-foot yacht several times. And Saturday night, we actually went out and did some bar hopping by water, which was a lot of fun. So go from pier to pier, get out, have a drink or two, and then get back in the boat, go to the next one. It's so much different to see things from the water, and to just and it was a beautiful evening. It wasn't real crowded because it had rained all day, so most of the boaters weren't out there. So we had easy parking. It was just a really good time.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
The perks of being on the Chesapeake Bay and all its tributaries.
No doubt. The water can be a beautiful place.
Yes. What about yours?
So my celebration for today on this Tuesday is that sometimes
you just don't plan for this, do you?
I don't know. I try to go with the flow, and sometimes that helps, and sometimes it doesn't. Is that we're able to do this show I am remote, so we're able to do this show even when I'm not necessarily in my office space, even though it looks like I'm in my office space. So I think that is.
Are you in Delaware now?
Am I in Delaware at this moment? I am.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Well, is this moment Tuesday morning or is this moment Monday when we're recording it? So the little tip of giveaway there.
The answer.
This show is being recorded at the moment, as I have.
We will look at every comment,
and we still will go back and look at every comment. Absolutely, as I have an event, a 2-day event in Delaware, that would make it extremely tight to get this in at 7 a.m. and still get to where I need to be. So that's what I'm celebrating. Is that we can do this without having to be dependent on being at in the same location or doing it at the exact same time every day. We can provide it for everyone at the same time differently.
You know what I'm thinking of doing Wednesday morning?
What's that?
It just popped in my head. A live, like running dialogue in the comments through the episode. So I can't believe I coughed there. Does he know that he messed up this? I think that would be a really fun episode.
Can you do it without judging yourself or me? Just curious.
It would be for comedic effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just think it might spice things up. A nice middle of summer. What the heck? And because we've recorded it, I have that availability because it's hard to do the program and write comments.
So you are on TikTok, right?
I am.
Business Coach Bob?
Yes.
So you could do, what is it they call it?
I believe it's Bob the Business Coach.
Bob the Business Coach, sorry. You could do, I think it's called a duo, where you could show the episode and then you could be reacting to it with.
No, is it a duo or a duet?
Maybe it's a duet. I don't know.
Because I've seen people do it. I don't know how you do it, but that's not a bad idea.
That would be interesting, especially doing it of yourself. That's even more interesting because usually you're doing it of somebody else's comments.
Right.
All right. We've ventured way off topic. And so let's get back to where we were trying to go, which is having a conversation around dependence and why it matters. So do you want to kick us off, Bob?
Yeah, just for anyone who's new, last week we talked about renegade independence, and we really kicked it around and had a good discussion all week. So if you're trying to figure out where you are, I would tell you go back a week, start last Monday where we talked about renegade independence, what it is, and we moved through the week, benefits, challenges. And I thought those discussions really set us up for this discussion around if we can talk so eloquently. Both of them. If we can do both those things, and clearly it's harder to say than do, some might argue, or if you can't say them, you probably can't do them. Anyway, if you are trying to figure out dependence, we are in the right place with you right now, because Tom and I started yesterday with the whole discussion around dependence. And I think as we talk about why it matters, I think we're all dependent on a lot of things to find our success. I off the top of my head, teachers, parents, our community. If there's a spiritual component to our lives, that enters in. Anyone who shared with us their knowledge, their experience, their perspective, even if we didn't listen to it, probably it went into the mental computer and it played a role. And I think when we talk about renegade dependence, there's an acceptance that you're not doing this alone. And that ultimately you decide, if you're a leader on a team, you decide what the team's going to do. But you draw feedback from as many sources as you think you can manage to evaluate it in a way that you can say, oh, wow, I've done all that I can do. And based on that, I'm going to make this decision. It's not, and I want to be really clear, renegade dependence is not having everyone tell you what to do. Your prices are too high, lower your prices. You're not open the right hours. That's not what we're saying at all. We're saying, hey, if 20 people say to you, your prices are too high and your sales have dropped by 50%, you might want to look at your pricing, or you might want to look at your marketing, or you might want to look at the color of your envelopes. There's a million things that could be influencing it. But we are dependent on that feedback to help figure things out, because none of us have complete independence. And I think that's the fallacy I had when I started my first business. Like, I'm completely independent. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. No one can say anything about it. Well, my customers can say a lot about it. Because if they want me at meetings on Friday at 4 p.m., you know what? For the right amount of money, I'm at a meeting at Friday at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think you still have the choice. You always have the choice to do whatever it is you want. It's just, what are the results going to be from that? What's going to happen as the consequences of your actions, I think, is one of the things to think about. And as I think about why dependence matters, to me, it breaks down to, we can't grow without dependence. And I think it's what you were saying in some regards, is that at some point our knowledge, experience, and perspective is limited, and pretty much framed dependent on others adding their value, whatever it might be. And so while I think that there's great value in independence, and in considering that there is also the same amount, or if not more, value in the dependence that we have on others for how we're able to grow. I mean, if we never interacted or engaged with another person, how would we know anything different? All we would know is what we know, or what we've experienced, or what our perspective is on it. And I think that thinking that you have to be independent, again, depending on how you define it, is, and I think if we go back, and I'll just share this as of going back, I think one of the ways I defined it was realizing that you're not in control. I'm sort of paraphrasing here. You can't control everything. All you can control is the things you choose to do. And when you can accept that, now you start to find independence. Understanding that there is still consequences to your independence, to your actions. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. When you can get to that point and say, look, I'm going to do this because I think this is the next step in my journey that seems to make sense, given what I know at the time. Now you've found some independence. And then also understanding that the results you don't control. And so to learn from that, you have to depend on others to give you feedback, give you results, and then you can choose how you want that to impact what's real for you. And so, I think yesterday I talked a little bit about how oftentimes people see dependence as a quote unquote negative, because they feel like, well, it's holding people back, or it's getting them stuck, and they can't move forward without somebody's approval or something like that. And we're all dependent on these other things.
Or it's allowing someone else to make your decisions for you, right?
Correct. And I think that
someone tells you your prices are too high and you go, oh, now I got to lower my prices without figuring out what your costs are. Just, I got this feedback and I'm going to allow them to control what I do based on just that one piece of feedback, which may be unfounded.
Well, it's just what's real for them.
Right. But that doesn't mean that it speaks for the universe. It
Correct.
speaks for that person.
Or for you.
That's part of dependence, is understanding what level of engagement you have with information that comes at you. That feedback, you can go, oh, wow. My best customer said my prices are too high. Or you can say that, the guy at the grocery store I was talking to about what I do said my prices are too high. Those two are really different to me, but both are very valuable. And I would bet many people consider one and not the other, or they consider neither.
Correct. When that's 2 out of how many people are there in the world?
Correct. Billion.
It's a very small sample size when you think of it in that way. So I think that there's value in dependence.
Yeah.
I think that help things become a little clearer and helps us grow.
I would agree. So what's your one thing today? Yep, I'm put you on the spot.
Yeah, especially after I just shared what I was. It's funny when I get these thoughts about what I want to share, and then I'm like, do I want to share it now, or do I want to wait and save it for my one thing?
Well, you can always reiterate it.
I could. So I'm going to say, I think when I think about dependence and why it matters, it's that in a void, which is what, if you were to look at true independence, you're in a void, a vacuum, nothing else around you. Your opportunities for growth are non-existent because there's nothing else there. And so when we think about the value of independence or the value of dependence, it is that it provides us with knowledge, experience, and perspective that we can choose how much it will impact what's real for us. And if we truly want to grow, we are willing to listen to what others have to say as a way to understand how does that change, modify, or have no impact on what's real for us. And I think that even though we may think it has no impact, there's always impact on it. If someone shares something that even if you disagree with it, it's hard for you to walk away and not be impacted by it. I mean, I had a situation where over the last week where people were sharing some feedback, and there was some of it I understood, and I thought it was valuable feedback to hear. I didn't necessarily agree with what they were sharing, and I understood that that's what was real for them, and that allowed me to at least understand that it had some impact. Didn't completely change. It made me consider some other things, and I think even in just the considering, we are impacted, and it changes.
And you're growing.
Correct.
Even if you say, you know what, I don't believe that, I'm not going to do anything differently, you still have the experience, and it registers on some level.
Absolutely. So how about you? What's your one thing?
My one thing when I talk about why dependence matters is that I think dependence doesn't have to mean control. And it means, as you've been saying, it's feedback, it's input, it's evaluating that. It's not knee-jerking. It's not doing what other people tell you to do. That would be the week where we talk about copping out, which I could do a week of that in my sleep probably. But liking that topic, aren't you?
I was just thinking about it.
But I think dependence is really, my chair turned on me. Sorry about that. Dependence can be whatever level of control you allow it to have. You could be completely dependent on one customer. You could be completely dependent on one team member. I don't recommend either of those. Been there, done that, doesn't work real well. Or you can have various inputs which allow you more flexibility.
Okay, I like it. All right, everyone, if you have one thing that you'd like to share with us from this conversation, please feel free to put it in the comments because we know it'll add value, not only to us, but to others as they try to take their next step along your own unique pathway to success. And one of the things that we think there's a balance of dependency and independency in our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's a great place for you to go because you're with others who are trying to find the balance between independence and dependence and figure out their next step. So we look forward to you joining us there. We'll be talking about dependence all week long. And we would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So we look forward to seeing you inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. It's worth it.
So
Needs to be said.
So do we need to do it because you said to do it, or we just let that impact us?
I am the voice of reason on that one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, everybody, have a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.